Yo, what's good, everybody?
Hello.
That's good, man.
So, Dan Mason in the house.
What's happening,
Young
bro?
man at the bottom right there.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
Good, man. Good to meet you. Good to meet you, man.
Please introduce yourself, sir. Who are you to the audience, please, young man?
Me?
Yes, you, sir.
My name is Luke Burr. I am a singer-songwriter, artist, pianist, chasing the dream. I'm from Essex. What else? Started out listening to my dad's old soul records when I was like 7, and then I've become obsessed ever since. I love football, which is coming home.
sorry.
Why are you laughing, Dan? You're not having it.
Everything was dope until you said that.
Silly.
Come on,
until you said that.
Come on, Dan. Show some respect right now.
Listen, it's controversial, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's absolutely controversial. I don't know. I don't know. I think we've got a manager that doesn't know what he's doing.
We won. We won yesterday. Why? How can you complain, Dan?
We won. Okay, cool.
Just.
So first, just.
Why are you not showing my positivity, guys? Come on.
Listen, positivity is great, but sometimes the problem with positivity is actually recognizing the reality of the situation sometimes as well.
In Gareth we trust, Dan. In Gareth we trust.
The brother that missed the penalty trust it. We trust this guy, yeah? Okay. All right. He's the guy we trust. It's like saying to the guy that robbed you, listen, I'm just gonna come back same place tomorrow. Yeah? And hopefully you're not gonna rob me tomorrow, but I'm gonna have jewels in that. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, Luke was coming with the energy and the vibes. Listen, Luke, yes, I feel he has the potential to come home. Potential.
I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying.
It has the potential, 100%.
Bryce has just given us some bad news, so we need to stay positive because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. All of these lockdowns, moving back. Honestly, come on, what's happening?
No, legit. He swindled a lot of people. He ain't swindled me. He swindled a lot of people.
He didn't swindle us because I think I kind of knew. I was hesitant. People are like, "Oh, you're gonna." I even had a booking. Like I had bookings, and people are like, "Yeah, like it's gonna happen." I'm like, "Listen, I'm gonna agree to do your party initially, but I know that something's gonna go down." And I said this to them like a month ago. I said like. And this is exactly what's happened. So now I'm just like, see, I told you. So it's a good thing we didn't exchange any money or nothing because, boy.
They weren't seeing that money back, basically.
Oh, bro, I would have spent that. That would have gone on my rent. I would have spent that. You mean shops opened ages ago? I would have been all over that. Like, what do you mean? I've been itching to buy some new equipment as well. I would have took that straight to West End DJ, bro.
In saying that, because has this news affected you in any way?
This current news, yeah. I mean, so I earn most of my income through, and I have done since I was 14 years old, singing at weddings and corporate events. I started off in the local pub, and then the local pub went to the nicer bar, and then eventually I started to get some pretty nice sort of weddings and that sort of stuff, and abroad gigs, and that's how I earned most of my money, and that's not It's not been happening, and now another month without it. I mean, people are so much worse off, so I'm not complaining, but it's just, it's frustrating not being able to see people dancing. Do you know what I mean? That's what I love. That I love that energy in a room. I love to dance myself, or just being able to entertain a room that are not restricted to a table or whatever it might be. I just, it does fill me with a little bit of anxiety, if I'm being honest. But we move.
That's the way we can do, because we've got some idiot at the wheel right now who's just down some dark alley. Like, who knows what's gonna happen really? And from day to day, who knows what's gonna happen?
You know what? I look at it like this, and before listen, I've even said on this podcast, if I see him, I'll clap him up. However,
you can't say them things, bro.
exactly. However, obviously, I'm not actually going to do that. But listen, it's a tough job. Imagine being him, yeah, with everything that's gone on. Like, listen,
Yeah.
I looked at him today, and the brother looked like he has aged. Like, he looks like.
Yeah, no, it's impossible. You can't please everyone, and who knows? I mean, like, are any other country doing like so much better than us? I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, New Zealand, Australia, they're doing numbers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, obviously,
they're supposed to be our counterparts as well. You know, that's the maddest thing. They're supposed to be pals. Like, we're supposed to be linked to them, man. It's messed up.
But like, we're so small. The density of our population is so much higher than their guys. So I don't know. I don't know the answers, but I'm just saying exactly as you say. It's not easy, but it is. Man. It is frustrating for us. You know, certainly creators, entertainers, performers. It's like, yeah, it's not.
Listen, I am boiling. I've got to take off this hat because, boy.
You ain't got a fan on today either.
Oh, mate, the fan, nothing. At least I'm not coughing this week, though.
Hey, that'll speak to you soon, bro. You never know.
I know. I got my Strepsils at my side just in case. Get me? I'm ready with the Strepsils just in case the coughing happens. But yeah, look, you know what? I interrupted your intro, man. You got to go back and start off from just after you said it's coming home.
No, I'm gonna interrupt. He was going on humble. Like, I've been following Luke for a little bit still, and in fact, it was through Effie that really like put me on to Luke. And it was like, yeah, this brother's doing this, and then Effie jumped on your show. In fact, shortly after she did our show. And that's when I started really just paying attention to you. He's coming on humble down right now, cause this guy is nuts. I'm gonna call you the English Robin Thicke, yeah? That's what I'm gonna call you. That's what I'm gonna call you.
Early days, Robin. Not
the. You know, I don't think he went sideways though, man. He's all right, man. Robin's still.
I loved his first stuff. Right, I was all over, and I still like the one, and then he just like got huge, and then just fell off his face of the earth. But talent-wise, mad. Like early days, like on a par with Justin Timberlake, like the early stuff when they were both doing things that, you know, like.
That's actually like who would you take actually if you were to listen to one of them for the rest of your life, Justin Timberlake or Robin Thicke?
Look, Justin's got back. Like, you can't deny "Cry Me a River." Ooh. Like bangers like that, like Justin and live, like the YouTube videos of Justin, you can go all day long. His band, honestly, check out. He does a medley on like Jimmy Fallon. The best live performance I've seen on YouTube. Unbelievable. He goes on the roads. He's playing. Then he's up dancing. The band are ridiculous. Yeah. So I mean, JT, I think he's up there.
Do you know what, performance-wise, I'm gonna actually fully agree with you because I saw him 2012 with Jay-Z. That's when they did like a little collab album. And that was at Wireless. Still to this day, the best Wireless I had. What you saw, A$AP Rocky. Then you had Tribe Called Quest. Then you had Nas. Then you had finish off with Jay-Z and Justin.
You know what? You just touched on a crazy thing. Like Wireless used to be about the music.
Oh my God.
It used to be about the music. I think they still are about the music, but they're now catering for a different age group. Like, I feel because I mean, of course. But then I still feel like there's people like ourselves who listen, I will gladly go and see Justin Timberlake. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of them things, but I feel like Wireless has gone in like not totally different direction, but the early Wireless was hard. It was definitely, you saw some really crazy performances.
You know what? I've never been. There was 1 year I was gonna go and I had tickets and something happened. But I've never actually got to go. And then I was gonna go, I think last year, the pandemic, so
meant to be just yet.
One of those ones.
You might end up actually going and performing, you never know.
Maybe.
One day you will. In fact, you'll skip all of that. Last week we were talking about Glasgow. This guy will hit up.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Glasto.
if you skip all of that,
I'll skip Wireless. I'll go Glasto. I
go
love that.
straight
Yeah,
to
100%,
Glasgow.
100%.
Man left championship, went straight to the World Cup, you know.
That's sweet.
100%. Anyway, so no, continue, man. You said you start. You listened to your dad's soul collection.
Yeah,
Like,
that
what were
was-
your main influences? What you picked out from that, though?
I don't know why, as a 7-year-old kid or whatever, you know, the kids in class, I don't even know what they're listening to at that point. But I wanted to press play on Earth, Wind and Fire and Kool and the Gang and Stevie Wonder and whoever else it might be. I just fell in love with that. I fell in love with the voices. And at this age, I didn't see anything. I just heard, and there was no reason or there was no rhyme or reason why I connected to it. My brother listened to those same songs in the car, but he didn't resonate with it in the same way, you know, and I can't really explain why. And then I discovered that I could sing, and like I had a tone. I've always had a tone that, you know, whether you want to believe God gave it to me or whatever, I don't know why I had this tone. It's just a tone, but I had a very limited range. Like I'd say like 4 notes sounded sick, and everyone was like, how do you sound like that, looking like that? But the rest of it was horrendous because I hadn't sung, like I didn't have any coaching early on. Like my family I didn't go to church every week and sing, so I never had that kind of thing. I just had this, and I discovered this tone, and then obviously I picked up from what I was listening to, and then I just become obsessed, and you know, like incredibly obsessed with my vocals, and really tried to make them as good as they could possibly be. Then I just started singing in the local pub, as I say. That was my my introduction to it, and I loved that. And then I got signed really early on when I was a young kid. I don't know how. Do you want me to carry on this whole?
No, please. Yeah,
man.
we want to know.
Talk us through the journey, man. Keep going.
So then,
Not a ramble at all.
I get signed as a kid, but at that point I was just a really good singer, and I had a really good voice that no one else could have like me. But I wasn't an artist. I wasn't a songwriter. I didn't have anything to say. I didn't really know what I was, you know. And that whole thing went by. The label ended up folding, and then it was only since then really that I discovered who I wanted to be, what I wanted to say, and how I wanted to sound. And I think you're working that out, you know, as you go along. And then the last sort of few years, been releasing independently, doing a lot more songwriting as well for other people, and gradually growing. You know, live side's going really well. We just sold out Scala, which is, you know, like amazing.
Mad.
So yeah, we're moving in the right direction, and it's you know, you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the journey, and it sounds cliche, but you really do. So yeah, it's easy to get obsessed, constantly looking forward. But right now, where I'm at, I'm feeling like the first time ever that I'm feeling incredibly confident as a songwriter and as an artist, rather than just a singer. Do you know what I mean? So, and I feel good about that.
No, it's dope. It's dope. And what's refreshing is you can tell it's like what is that?
Oh, sorry, I put my fan.
Later on
I know it's hot, but when this guy's in here again.
Listen, I'm trying to put my fan on. I thought I could sneak it on as well. Oh gosh, I thought I could sneak that in there. Sorry, guys, my bad.
I was just saying, it sounds like you're in a really good personal headspace and a space within yourself, which I think for some of the artists that we've talked to, they're probably much earlier on in their journey than you are, but you can tell there's this searching that's going on.
Yeah.
And you seem like you've just almost landed in that, cool, this is the pocket I want to sit in, and you're just working and building that craft. And honestly, I used to play basketball basically like a stone's throw away from the Scala, and I know how popular that venue is. And when I saw that you sold, I was like, raw. You're actually moving mad on that one, because it's not a small venue. It's not a small time thing.
Legendary, bro. Well done for that, man.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. And you know, to do that as an independent artist, and most of what I do is it's on my own. You know, I have people as part of a team, but I have to, you know, take credit for most of what I do. I'm very hands on in every aspect. So yeah, super proud of that, and that's something I have to be thankful for. So I appreciate that, and well, I think, as you say, it goes in waves. You know what I mean? Like February and January, I was so low. I had no idea. I think that the pandemic got to me a little bit, and I was just a bit wiped out. I was getting up and I was working all day long, but for what? It didn't really feel that urge. Do you know what I mean? It was weird. I wasn't inspired, and then sort of March comes, and then I write one song that's amazing, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm back. Do you know what I mean? And I've been buzzing ever since. And I think in terms of songwriting, the biggest thing in the past few months for me, I feel like I spent so long trying to be cool, and now I couldn't give a flying fuck, to be honest with you. Like, sorry, explain. I really don't care. Like, I don't care if you think I'm cool or not. There might be some days I sit at the piano and the most pop chords come out of me. That's what my music's telling me to create, and people might.
Oh, so you know about the muse, yeah?
Well, I used to hear people talk about it, and I was like, "You are talking gobbledygook." I was like, "Rubbish."
Listen, I discovered that bad boy this year. I discovered it this year. I discovered that stuff this year. Like, have you read that book, The War of Art?
Yeah. What a book, by the way. Yeah, unbelievable.
This is like the 5th show this guy's been harping on about the bloody book.
No, listen, it's the one. I could read it again and again, and it's just like. Yeah.
Listen, I read it all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time. I'll get it done in the morning. Like in the morning, I'll be like, you know what? I'm feeling kind of way.
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna read. I'm reading that book, and then that day, I'm good. I'll jump on the decks, and I'm like, we're gonna create something today.
Again, we posted about Busta Rhymes again, yeah.
This guy, let it go, man. He's let it go.
Fam, you got me posted by Busta Rhymes. That's
let it go.
I'm not letting it go.
But listen, I'm telling you, Kofi. See, read the book. If I have to personally deliver it to your house, bro, I'm gonna deliver that to your house.
Fam, I think the episode we did with Steve, I think I downloaded it, then I just ain't touched it because I've been hella busy. But yeah,
touch it. Trust me, touch it up, rub it up.
No. Honestly, the book's great, but I just think in terms of, I used to hear people like Chris Martin talk about news, and I used to hear people go, "Oh, I don't feel like I created the song. I feel like I'm a vessel, and the song came through me." And I was always like, "I think you're talking complete rubbish, to be honest with you, mate." But I started the last sort of few months. I really did. I sit down at the piano in the morning, and whatever comes out of me. Whereas for so long, I used to go, no, that's too pop. I need to be more R&B. I need to be called up. I need people to respect me. I don't care now. And it's almost like the clouds were there, and now more often than not, it's brighter. There's less clouds. You still have to find your way through on certain days, but that's been the biggest change for me as a songwriter, and I feel so much better for it.
Listen, lots of artists need to hear this. I'm gonna clip it and put it on the Instagram, because a lot of the artists need to hear that, because I think you say exactly what it is that they're trying to do. They're trying to be cool. They're trying to. Well, we say this on the show all the time. There's too much copying. There's too much people who want to emulate and try to reflect what this person's doing. Where is the originality? Hence why I started Lev3ls as well. All the artists that will come on, they're just themselves.
Yeah.
They're just themselves and just produce fantastic music. And it's refreshing hearing that. You mentioned a guy who I thought doesn't get enough respect, and this is titled the British music scene as well. Chris Martin. I don't think that guy gets enough love, man. The guy is ridiculous.
How do you do song after song after song for 20 years, 25 years? Like, people are hot for a minute and there's hype for a minute. But if you write songs over that time span that connect to that many people, I don't care if people say it's too pop. He connects him with millions of people across the world. So how about you go on YouTube, type in Viva La Vida live in Brazil or whatever, and see how that connects with people. The man's
that looks like an out of body experience.
Oh,
that looks like an out of body experience.
Yeah, no, he's an absolute genius, and I think that for me, I did spend such a long time. I don't know if it was because I was signed and then I came out and I was almost like, now I don't have a team or a budget. I can't be pop. People, I don't know what it was. I just felt like I was so desperate for people to respect me that I wanted to make the coolest songs. So then so many songs got lost because I was like, it's not cool enough. And now I'm like, you know what's cool? Talent's cool. You know what's cool?
Yeah.
Connecting with people through music. That's cool. So if there's tens of thousands of people coming to a show, if someone in Shoreditch, in wherever, who thinks they're cool doesn't think I'm cool, I don't care, because I'm singing in front of 20,000 people. That's my dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
No, but
exactly.
You think like you were trying to just connect with like a certain group of people before? Like, you think you had like maybe subconsciously you had like a target audience and you were really trying to, you know, produce stuff for them rather than just putting out bits that are just good bits that you like?
Potentially, but then I also heard something the other day on some podcast, and I was like, was it subconsciously because I didn't believe in myself that I actually could do the bigger thing? Was it safer to go, if you try and be cool, there's a niche world that will tell you you're great, and then do you know what I mean? And then you're not shooting and missing because it's so much easier to achieve. So maybe was that what I was doing? I don't know. I think it's all turned. It's all growth.
Bars. This guy just spat some bars. Jesus.
I don't know the answer.
With that stuff though, I feel like it's a slippery road. It's a road to some unhappiness at some point, because it kind of restricts you to kind of like what we talk about all the time with Pink. Pink was never really. She was, you know, she was, but she didn't want to be just pigeonholed. So she just wanted to be herself. But she knew how to get herself into certain positions. And once she did, she was just like, I'm just going to do me, you know?
Coming out, so you better get it.
Go. Like, it is what it is. But, yeah, like, if she had carried on just being this, you know, cool R&B chick, I don't know how long her soul would have allowed her to do that for. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe the audience would have sussed it before she did. Like, it could have been messed up, but she made the transition and she did all right.
But maybe it's easier to aim for the thing that is you kind of feels more achievable as well. Do you know what I mean? And also maybe part of my own self-worth, I wanted people to tell me I was cool. Maybe. Like, I don't know. Is that because maybe I'm not as confident as I thought I was? Maybe. Maybe we're all just insecure artists wanting people to tell me we're great. Maybe. But I just think it's about, then you find confidence in yourself, and you know what? I wrote a massive pop song today that I think is absolutely amazing. So I don't care if they're not playing it in the edgy places or whatever. Like, but it came out of me, and it gave me goosebumps when it came out of me, and it feels great. So that's what I'm going to sing today.
Listen, pop music. There's nothing wrong with pop music. I feel like over time, like there's been this thing created around pop music. Pop music is just about there's some great music in pop music, bro. Like, some real good music in pop music. It's just like, because they're so good, it's like it reaches this huge audience, and then all of a sudden, it's like people are like, oh, you know, the cool people start stepping back, like, you know, it's too big for me. It's too mainstream. I
don't get that. I get that, but for me, if a song connects with loads of people from all different backgrounds, like a pop song can, like a hit song, like a Coldplay song can, that's the dream. That's what I want to do.
Ultimately, as an artist, I'm sure that must be a satisfying moment.
Oh, that, you know, like, I'd absolutely love that. And that's not to say, like, but some days I want to sit at the piano and some gospel chords come out of me. So that's what I'm going to do on that day. But I can't fight that. I can't go on that day, oh, well, this doesn't feel like it's going to connect with people. I feel like now I just need to go, what needs to come out of me today? You know? And then I think during that process, you work out who you are, what you're going to release. And that, anyway, that's what I'm trying at the moment.
Last week we had Char. We had Char on last week. Charlotte, right. So she was talking about mental health.
Well, did she have the podcast? Masked? Yeah, I've done her. Oh, she's great. I love Shah.
I,
Great.
I think it was Mars or something else. But yeah, she
I'm
does
Mars.
know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was talking about mental health, and she's done like quite a bit of work with mental health
Yeah.
and stuff. Do you feel like your mental health is a little bit better now that you're just almost living whatever you want to live, not kind of living for what you think people would want, I guess?
Absolutely. But again, Dan, it's like it goes in waves. So like, as I say, like the first 2 months of this year, I was just not myself. And then I went through like 2 months where I thought I was amazing and I had it all figured out. But then I can wake up in the morning thinking I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm mad stressed and I feel anxious. But by the time I have my coffee, I get back and I write a song that feels great. I'm happy again. So it's too much of my mental health has been based on how successful I've been that day. And it's something I'm trying to improve on. But if I write a great song, well, that makes me happy. If I sit there and I don't write a good song and I don't achieve anything in a day, I'm not happy. And that's something that I need to work on, and I'm aware of it. But, you know, I wish I could sit and go, I'm always happy. I'm not at all. So it's like, it just, as I say, like, I can go from mad, weird vibes and low when I wake up, have a walk, have a coffee, have a run, feel great, sit down, nothing come, then I'm stressed again. Or sit down, something great comes, and I feel good. So it's like, you know, it's a roller coaster, you know, and you just have to try. And I'm very like that. Like my brother, he's proper level all the time. Never, just like, and he knows what to say to me to try and, you know, bring me to those places, bring me down when I need to, or bring me up. I'm very up and down, you know, and that's just the way I am. And you have to just try and be aware of that, and I think, and just navigate it.
Oh, 100%. I was talking to, do you know Cam Bloomfield?
Yeah, great guy, great, very talented guy as well. Yeah,
incredible. When he did the shoot with Effie for the Levels Lounge studio, he was saying it's something almost to that degree, especially through lockdown. He said it was literally night and day as to how his mood would be. Literally, one day, wake up hunky dory, everything's great.
Yeah.
Next day, it's like the whole world's literally about to come crashing down on his head, and he's saying because of how his mind works as a creative, he needs to be out in the world. His everyday experiences what influences his writing and stuff like that. So, I mean, when I was hearing that, I was like, Jesus, you must have been really going through it then, because you haven't been able to go nowhere and experience nothing with nobody. So when I heard that, and then last week's conversation as well with Shah, I was like, oh, we should set up something for artists who may go through things here and now, because I think controlling your mental health is so important. Obviously, and it's become more prevalent in this day and age with all the things that's going on.
No, 100%. Like, and so many artists, you know, I mean, certainly when you're signed and you're big time, they're not asking you, are you sure we can put this extra show in that you're actually going to be completely knackered for and you might not be able to physically do? They're not going to ask you that. They're going to go, okay, there's more money for everyone else. Say yes. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it is important. I mean, I have varying opinions on it. I feel like I talk to a lot of people in music and we're all trying to find the answer because most of us are a little up and down. I feel like some people I talk to, they try and find the answer and they attach so much of life on like, okay, this is the theory for me. Okay, I've read this book and everything is going to make sense like this. And then when something goes wrong, I feel like if you're so attached to a particular idea and if something goes wrong, it can kind of throw you. I find a bit more comfort in going, I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm just trying. Do you know what I mean? And I think this might work for me. And I know that might not, but I don't really know. I don't have the answers. And I feel more comfortable or feel more at ease just saying I don't know, you know, rather than this is how you should live, guys. Do this, and this, we're all happy. You know, like then something happens, life happens, and it can kind of go, oh, you know. So, I mean, that's what I try and do, but that might be wrong.
It sounds exactly what it should be. It's some of the things that people struggle to come to terms with. People can't say, I don't know. People can't say, I need help. I need help is one of the hardest things anybody can say.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense what you're saying. and it's a long way to go. But all this bravado, everybody's told to have a stiff upper lip and all this crap. Sometimes, actually no, all the time, you don't need to have a stiff upper lip. If you're feeling weak, hey, you're feeling weak. It's okay, and that's what needs to be driven up. It's okay.
Cry a little.
Anyway,
Say cry a little.
if you have to. Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. Christian Eriksen, I cried.
Yeah,
I'm not going to even lie. I cried because it was literally all that went through my mind was, and a friend of mine actually died. He was playing rugby. He died exactly the same way. Cardiac arrest, boom, done. Left behind twins, and they weren't even a year old.
Fucking hell.
And they threw me back to then, but at the same time, it's like that's just somebody who's just doing what he loves. Did any of you see the clip? Like the ball was thrown into him, and literally bounced off him, and then boom, he collapsed. I was just like, oh.
I try to avoid looking at it though because I feel like it might be a little bit scary to.
When his wife, that was brutal.
Yeah. But it shows you how precious like life is.
I know, yeah. No, it puts things into perspective. You know, like nothing really matters that much. You know what I mean? Like as much as we think, I don't know about you guys, but I attach so much importance to so much of what I do, and then you see something like you're like, actually, does it really matter if I don't do this or don't get that done or whatever? It's like no.
Yeah, literally in the blink of an eye, done. And he said he was gone basically. But anyway, let's bring up the spirits a little bit more. That's a bit more bit to speak about. What projects have you got coming up?
So I'm working on I've got another single coming very soon that is going to be the last track on the current project that I've been releasing at the moment. Taking a bit longer to come out because we're just exploring different ways to distribute it basically. And then after that, I'm hoping to have like a feature or two this summer, maybe a couple dance features. And then after that, if I'm being honest with you, like I'm not in any kind of particular rush. Like even answering this question now, it's like my whole mindset for so long has been consistent release. And I've done that for the last 2 years. But where I'm at next, I've in all honesty, I feel like it's more a case of I'm just going to write until I've got a big enough catalogue and in maybe a position where I think these songs deserve or have the best chance of coming out and doing what they deserve to do, because I think they're the best stuff I've ever written. And I think it's not just a niche crowd that are going to enjoy it. I think this could connect with a whole host of people. So where I'm at with that is I'm in no rush to get that out, actually. You know, it's I will always be releasing consistently, but these certain songs that I have, they're being held back for the right time, I think.
You know, when you're writing and stuff, like, are you writing for other people as well?
Yeah, and I've done a lot of that recently, and I'm really enjoying that as well, because I feel like that's opening loads more doors than ever before. Mm-hmm. It's making me exercise being a songwriter, which I love. And if one lands, you know, like it could, then...
Like talk us through like the writing process. Do you sit down, because this is something that fascinates me, do you sit down and when you're writing these projects you think, if so and so was singing this, it would be so dope? Do you put yourself in their shoes, and how does that creative moment come about? Yeah,
quite a bit. So like I've been working with this guy a lot in LA, and we do Zooms together, and he's like he knows a few say A&Rs that know who might be looking for songs. So we'll go like, okay, let's write a song that so-and-so would be happy with, or that we think we could pitch towards. And often we'll do that for like certain artists. If a song's big enough, so many artists could sing it. Do you know what I mean? It could be Capaldi, James Arthur, John Legend. Like if you're writing a big song, any of them could sing it because it's big enough. Do you know what I mean? And they're the sort of songs that I would try and write, right? Because I don't know, you know, do you know what I'm saying? So, but most of the time, how I'll do it is, my little routine is I'll get up, I'll go on a walk, I'll get a coffee, I'll come back, and I'll just play what comes. And some days it'll be soul R&B, other days it'll be super pop, and it'll be like, okay, this feels like it could be for Chainsmokers or whoever. And it's like, and then I'll just roll with it, you know, and we go with it. And I've got a few people that I work with now, which have really been helping me get to that kind of, take that basic idea and then produce it up to fit whatever artist. And you just got to keep cracking, because it only takes one song, and if one song gets cut by a big artist, everything you do all of a sudden becomes great. You're in the rooms with everyone else, and yeah, so that's the plan. I'd love to establish myself as a songwriter actually before. I feel like that could help my break as an artist, to be honest with you, because I just feel like it gained so much respect within the industry, get me in through so many more doors, and that is actually a lane that I'm purposely trying to head towards.
I was actually going to ask that, like what your kind of projected pathway was, and almost like kind of where you wanted to go with your music career. But
well, it's always, I mean, in all honesty, it's always been, oh, let's just keep releasing, keep growing, and that's good. And like we got to Scala like that, so that's great. But I almost feel like over this next year, if I just put out a little bit here and there, but my mainly is writing, I'll be cool with that. I'll be cool with that, as long, you know what I mean. And if I can, if I can get indoors that way, then I think that could be. I've just been feeling recently that doing this is getting me a bit closer, you know, to where I deserve to be.
100%. Dan, who were we talking to the other week when they said that? Was it Jermaine, whose ex-bandmate wrote LMA's Tripping?
Yes, it was Jermaine.
It was.
Jermaine.
Like, when I heard, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's for LMA. That's just
that.
that. Yeah.
That was, bro.
That's nuts. That is levels.
I think singwriting. What the hell's wrong with me, man? Singwriting. Bloody hell. Songwriting.
The Ghanaian coming out.
The singwriters.
Singwriting.
They don't get enough love. Because realistically, people like Riri, who don't write any of our own tracks, the people who wrote the track should be getting the respect and the love and adulation.
You think so? Though? That's a
Riri.
That's a big one. No, because obviously someone like Riri is a huge artist, and most people won't even think beyond the actual song being performed. They don't think about the little guys that made it happen. But at the same time, you know, that person's wrote an absolute banger, and if they're getting paid handsomely for it,
but often they're not,
and that's the problem. So I think that's
often they are. I mean, like Rihanna's writers would be, to be honest.
Yeah, we need to look at some people that maybe need to look at where, you know, to get compensated for their music a little bit better. But the music industry is a little bit crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you might, you know, come up with this absolute banger. Maybe you don't think it's going to be a banger. Someone picks it up, and then you might sell it off for like peanuts, and then it turns into like a worldwide #1. Then you're stuck.
You know something interesting what happened with that? Timbaland, he just produced a track off J. Cole's album. Right? Timbaland was actually the track that it was actually featured. Timbaland produced it on Twitch, live on Twitch. And he said to himself, yeah, this isn't it. This isn't a banger. J. Cole happens to be watching that. And the Twitch saved, so he actually got some people, and he just looped the beat, right? And he was like, this is actually banger. Then he texted Timbaland and saying, oh, where's the rest of this beat? Timbaland said, I deleted it. I didn't like it. Next thing you know, Timbaland reworked the whole beat similar to that, and now it's featured on his thing. So literally, like I just said, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Because J. Cole went mad over the beat, and in fact, just released the video and everything.
He's one of them just stupidly creative people that just has so much talent. Like he can make a banger and be like, I'm a bin this. I've got a couple more bangers anyway. Like we spoke about Crime Me a River. Like, I mean,
stupid.
Who does that? Like, who does that, bro?
No.
It's too.
I think we have to give credit to Scott Storch in it, because those were his chords.
Were they his chords?
That was Scott Storch chords.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gets Timbaland because Timbaland produced the beat itself, but the chords, Scott Storch.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, they're
Scott
top
Storch.
guys. You hear the story. Apparently, Justin Timberlake, he played the beat, and Justin did the track pretty much in one go. He just wrote it on the spot, on the mic. Didn't write anything down. He just come out of him. So, like, when I heard that, I was like, all right, that's talent. That's stupid. I mean,
You got to put him up there. You got to put him up there.
Do you think Justin gets overlooked?
If you go on.
No, because he's still headlined like huge stuff, and he hasn't been releasing songs as good as that. People respect him. I think people respect him. I mean, they should. You're always gonna get, yeah.
That's the main reason they definitely should respect him, because he's done bits. Who would you write for if you had the choice?
John Legend, because I feel like he was the first one that made me wanna do this, really like this. Like when I heard that Get Lifted album, and like I just, you know, I wanted to play piano like him, and I wanted to sing, you know. So if I was to ever write a song for someone that would fill me with so much pride, you know, that would just, yeah.
Do you know what? I'm reloading that entire album before I go to bed. Yeah. That was peak Kanye West as well for me.
That was
peak Kanye West as well. Listen.
Top.
Listen. And I agree with you. The only thing that sometimes, and we're gonna go into the British music industry in a second, I think artists like John Legend, he took a good 10 years to pop.
Yeah, that's a pop. Yeah.
If you track it, because he was releasing tracks from 2003. Like some of the stuff that he was producing, like he was playing keys on Slum Village songs.
Yeah.
And his Get Lifted album was same time as Common released the B album, which was probably 2004, 2005, sometime around there. Nobody gave him any love until he released flipping
All of Me.
Which was what, 2013?
Yeah.
Something dumb like that. And I was just thinking, hold on, this guy's actually been putting in work for a long time, guys. Like, what's taking you so long to clock on? And I realized that things obviously have their space and time.
Yeah.
They all have their space and time, but
they do. But also, like, All of Me is pure pop, and for whatever reason, like that's an R&B soul album, right? Get Lifted. All of Me wouldn't have made the cut. It would have been too pop. But All of Me is just a more accessible record for the whole world in terms of all genders and all ages. Do you know what I mean? Like, they all get that song, whereas the other songs that he was doing, which I would prefer to press play on, but they're not as accessible. You're not singing that in the car like the Nan. Do you know what I mean? So you have that one song that does that, and then all of a sudden, like, you're just in a different space. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. But it's like, you're never going to get that much respect on a song that's not accessible to a lot of people, which is a shame. But that's just the way it is, you know.
Talking about the music industry, let's focus more on the British music industry. I mean, when me and Mason speak about the British music industry, I think we talk mainly from the grime and hip hop and R&B kind of side of stuff. Let's take it in a bigger picture. Where do you think we are currently in the whole kind of jousting for power? Because America's top, and I don't actually think that we're not too far from America. But where do you think we are generally? Like, how do you think we're competing against them?
Are you talking about the industry people, or are you talking about the artists?
Artists, industry people. We'll move on. That's a rabbit hole. But
I think there's tons of great music. There's always great music. Do you know what I mean? You know, and people will moan, but whether you don't like Dua Lipa or not, like, she's still dropping bangers. Or people that are less known. There's loads of good music, and that's the beauty of Spotify. Yeah, there's mad competition, and there's so much that you're listening to, but everyone also has a place to be heard. You know, there was a time where if you weren't on the radio, well, no one could hear you. now everyone can be heard. You know, even if it's just by their fans because they don't get on a big playlist, or they can still be heard. And it's absolute. There's so much great music. It's just whether or not it gets heard by more people because it does, whether it gets what it deserves in terms of platform or playlist or radio or budget. And that's always the way it will be. There'll always be those restrictions. You know, I'm sure there's an English artist right now who deserves to be heard by millions, but they're just not in the place where they can because no one's given them what they deserve, you know. But yeah, I think there's tons of great music coming out of a lot of places of this country, of America. I think live wise, we will never compete with America. Like, other than Coldplay, like I never see. Like, yeah, we have good performers, but we don't, like, bands, they don't go in like the American bands do. Like, they don't. That's what I think we lack. And we also, but I also don't think the British public like artists. I feel like the British public, right? They like the guy with the guitar who looks like he's just rocked up on stage, and he's just, and he could have been singing in the pub, but he's actually doing the Brits. Like, the British public respect that. Whereas Ariana Grande will go in. I don't think she'd be, if she was English, I don't think she would have been half as respected because people are like, what, you know you're good? No. Like, come down a bit. Which I don't like.
That's what's crazy. That's what's so crazy. And we'll talk about this with Essence, remember? Yeah. Like, the Americans have a different type of dog in them. Like, they are going ham. Yeah. If they see that ham, that ham roll, they want that ham roll, they're gonna go for it. Whereas us English people, we'll be like, all right, cool, there's a ham roll there, that's nice, let's jog towards it. No, the Americans will bite your hand off and then take your feet as well, and then eat the ham roll.
They celebrate on a whole different level. I think. Go on, sorry.
Why can't we do that?
See, here's my theory. I think English people in the culture, overall, I think we want something that's cool before talent. Whereas for American people, talent is cool. Talent's cool. So if you can really mad, that's cool. Over in England, I feel like it's all got, the image has got to fit. This got to be that before it's cool, or it's like, oh, you got to look like you haven't made any effort, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't really subscribe to that view. I think talent is cool.
I feel like the Americans definitely, talent is everything. You see it across their whole, they're very competitive. Like, they're a competitive nation. They want to be number one. And not just like, as in like, you know, their military or whatever. They want to be number one in everything. Like, they are going ham, like, on everything. And that seeps into like the people. Like, it starts at the very top and that seeps into the people. Like, their rap scene, like they go hard, like battling the singers. If you're not a great singer, they will tell you. The thing about it is they will tell you as well. Like,
but they'll also tell you if you're great.
Yeah, they'll tell you if you're great.
We don't.
No, we won't.
Yeah, in the UK, you get good artists and people are just like this. I think, you know what it is? You got to be honest. There's a lot of hate in the UK. There's a lot of hate in the UK.
We're jealous, or not. I don't know if jealous is the right word, but I don't think people like seeing people know they're good. It's almost like we're always like, we don't want you to be too confident. Like, don't know you're good.
Yeah,
we don't.
We're like, we've got that bucket, like a crab in a bucket mentality. Like, you see someone climbing up, they just want to clip them and pull them back into the bucket. And it's weird. I find it weird because it's like, you don't see. I mean, now in certain parts, of little pockets of the culture, people are bigging people up, trying to lift people up. But for a very long time, it was almost like, you still see it now. Like, people just want to get on top of people. Just because something's not your flavor, it doesn't mean you sign it off as dead. Like, and that's what we get. Like, it's not my flavor, and then you try and tell everyone else it's dead. How about allow other people to have an opinion, and then you've got the whole, like, people like to stay in their little groups, so they don't like to disagree with each other, so they all bunch together, and then it's like, even if they've got a different opinion, it's kind of cool to just stay in the group. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think that's a bigger issue, like rather than just music. I feel like there is, I don't know if it's the Twitter culture, but it's like you either need to be this side or that side, and no one listens to each other. So like someone will have an opinion, and rather than listening to that opinion, they're just working out how to disprove that opinion. And I feel like there's a lot of that. No one's like, actually, what about if everyone's right? Or there's no right, there's no wrong, and it's a grey area. And I feel like that's just that's the society we live in now. You have to pick a side on everything, and if you don't pick one side, then you're the opposite. And yeah, I mean,
pick a side, boy. You get cancelled if you don't pick a side, bro.
Well,
Your career is over if you don't pick a side.
I think you both just hit the nail on the head, though. I think for us to really like propel ourselves into a next stratosphere, we need to drop that hate. As soon as we, I think, show a bit more love and respect for the people that we actually have doing great things, I think it would actually encourage more people to do these great things and have the confidence to go on and do these things. Right now, we don't. I think more people are obviously just scared of the backlash or the opinions that people are going to get because they know more time is going to be negative. Obviously, people don't like negativity coming their way. So I think, yeah, you probably just hit the nail on the head as to probably
I've actually just thought of, like, sorry to cut you, like, I've actually just sat there and thought while you were thinking. It could also be the fact that maybe they have like this high ceiling, like this high expectation. Like us in the UK, we have this high expectation because you obviously mentioned earlier you grew up listening to like some amazing artists, like ridiculously talented people, right? And for a long time, we were always looking to the Americans to set the standard of what the talent was, right? So if you weren't on those levels, you were automatically seen as pants. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think that is just over generations, that's kind of stuck. So because we're always looking for that American level talent, we sometimes fail to see the talent that we have locally because we're trying to match them up to something completely different. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I don't know what hype.
So maybe
hype as well. Yeah.
Oh, see, hype is that one thing I would change about the industry is the obsession with hype over talent. Like, I've been in this a long time, and I know that I've had a video that's gone viral, and I've had all these A&Rs telling me that I'm the best ever, and then nothing. And then I've had another thing happen, and then they're all telling me how great I am again. But I'm no better than I was yesterday. There's just more hype, and it just the obsession with hype over talent is something that I really, really get frustrated about. It's like you could like just a PR firm could spin the amount of hype on someone, and people would believe. People could make out she's the best. This girl's the best live performer you've ever seen. Well, no one's ever seen her perform live, but everyone's gassed each other up that she's unbelievable, so they all start believing it. It's just, I don't know. That's my one.
Hype brings money, though, innit? So essentially, that's probably what it boils down to. Behind all of the hype is money, or after the hype is money. They're kind of linked. So if there's hype, there's some financial gain from somewhere. Someone's going to make pockets of money, so it makes sense. A lot of the times, I think people are not, and the reason why you might be getting frustrated is because they're looking for money. Like a lot people want to make money. People want to do this. They're not doing maybe the same reasons as yourself. I think some people are in it just because they want to make some change, and their voice is sometimes a little bit louder. It's like when you see artists that like are practically naked most of the time, and then you see an artist that can actually sing and they get no love because they might keep their clothes on and they want you to listen to their artistry rather than look at their body, right? And unfortunately, I feel like we live in that society, and to combat it, I'm not even sure what the answer is to get around it, but I just kind of feel like that's where we are, unfortunately.
But A&Rs won't look at an artist and go, oh, you know what? In 20 years' time, he could still be touring because he's that good live, or that they're looking, oh, that girl's gone viral on TikTok. I don't even know if she can sing without auto-tune, but who gives
immediate money.
So, and that, I mean, that is something that frustrates me. I'm not going to change it, but it's like if I ever got into a position where I ran my own label or I had my own management firm, I'd make sure that my obsession was with the talent, you know, and how we can make that talent last as long as possible and all earn much money off of it, but rather than hype, because hype doesn't last. It's temporary, you know. Like
you would make a lot of money. Like, you're right, you've got the right concept. You would make a ton of money, like, over time. So if you got a really good artist and you nurtured them for 5 years, right, and they just became this phenomenon, and then in 10 years, 12 years, they could still be touring and you still be getting some dough off that or whatever. Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? But unfortunately, not everybody thinks like that. It's just like short-term gain most of the time. It's just like, it becomes a little frustrating because the music, and that's kind of one of the things that we talk about on the podcast, it's like how short-lived some of these songs are. Like,
I mean, we're DJs, and we always go on about how 30 seconds to 45 seconds of a track. Get ready to spin the next one. 30 seconds, 5 seconds, spin the next one.
That's the frustration. When I got into DJing, listen, if you try to mix a song without people hearing their song, they would kick off. And man will be coming to the next, hey, big man, they'll be trying to talk to you, right? Nowadays, people are like, if you don't mix that song 30 seconds, I am dipping out with my friends. Like, they're not staying.
The attention span of people is just like,
I mean, it's sad. Yeah. But again, that's again why I create Levels, because it's about recapturing the talent and putting it back out and actually saying, look, listen to music, guys.
Well, I appreciate that. So thank you for your platform.
Yes.
Oh, we try, and I said next week the live show is still going on, by the way, guys. Burr's saying fucking that.
Burr's tried to ruin the mood, man.
He tried to shank it, the prick. But no, not this one. Anyway, Luke, again, I know you got to bounce. He's a very busy guy. This guy's very important. We're blessed to have him on the show.
No, thanks for having me. It's been an absolute honor, guys. Thank you. I really enjoyed talking to you both about music, venting a few of my frustrations, trying to spread a little bit of positivity on the way. But, no, it's been fun.
It's good. You shared your viewpoints, and that's at the end of the day what we want for the topics at hand. So bless up and thank you so much, man. Good luck in the rest of your productions. Are you good to continue tonight?
Thank you so much. Yeah, cheers. Look, I hope to see you guys soon live. I'd love to come down to the show next week, so I'll message you about that.
You know, the invite's there, bro. Ready.
And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys very soon. Have a great rest of your evening. Thanks so much, guys.
Hopefully next time we talk, we'll be talking about England maybe progressing past the semi-finals.
Coming home. It's coming home.
Watch, yeah. Luke, I'm going to say a bet now. If England win this Euros, you have to make a new version of whatever football song. Like, I don't want to hear it's coming home. I want you to make a new England tune,
Right,
if England
I'll do it.
We're done.
You heard it here first.
Flip it.
My money's on France still, but
Listen, it's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, they're stacked. But listen, bro, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an honor to talk to you, man.
Cheers, guys. Hopefully meet you very soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.
No worries, man. Take care.
Cheers.
Peace.